In this video, we'll focus on some of the basics for the point of sale, which can be found directly under your financial tab here. Now, a couple things to note. My screen might look a little bit different than yours, just depending on what your organization has set up for their favorites buttons, as well as what categories they have available here. A couple things to note. You have two different options for the point of sale. The first one being a customer sale, meaning that we can link it to a specific customer, member, staff member, anybody involved in your organization, or cash sale, or we also refer to this as our quick sale. So you notice when I click on this, our little search button down here actually disappeared. Now for the different products we have available, our favorite screen, again, this is just going to depend on what your organization has selected. In this case, we opted to have a couple of our most popular courses available. And so this is just going to be a one button, quick and easy find. And you'll actually notice since this is an event, I can see the dates up here as well. If I go to our merchandise, this is going to involve anything that you have a solid inventory for. So in this case, we have our fruit punch, some insect repellent, lip balm, all of the basics. And you can see that each item is actually linked up to a specific item number as well as a specific search code here. Additionally, you can see the different inventory available. If something has NA, this typically just means that you have an unlimited amount available. You can also note down here, I have the number -2 available. We do allow to track negatives. Again, this just depends on your organization, and this good example of this might be if you go ahead, think you're out of something, inventory shows a 0, maybe you find a couple additional ones in the back, so you go ahead and sell those without updating the inventory here. Next, we have our events, and we'll talk a little bit more about purchasing events through the point of sale and just general event registration in another video. We have our memberships, rentals, and then coupons as well. And something I do just want to point out with the coupons, you'll notice some of these do have a fixed amount, for example, $50, and some of these do have a percentage amount available as well. Additionally, you'll notice I have down here one noted as veterans discount. So some different coupons as well as certain events might have specific restrictions on them, might only be available to certain person types, such as a veteran, a senior, a youth, undergraduate, things along those lines. Now let's say you have a customer comes in and they want to purchase a fruit punch, some insect repellent, and maybe a t-shirt as well. Well, I'm not sure how much further down a t-shirt is going to be on this list. So I'm going to go ahead and search for shirt up here. And you can see that search actually pulled up everything that has a short code known as shirt, or it has shirt in the name as well. So we'll just tack this on. Now again, if you click cash sale up here, this is going to be if you're just selling something quick to the general public. Maybe they're not a member, just not something that you need to look for in the future. Typically, we do recommend if they are members tracking the sale, even if they're paying in cash, quick and easy. So you can actually see down here, it's going to ask you to search for your last name, for the last name, first name. If you search for the first name, it might not show up, so we highly recommend following this format. So I'm going to search for my good friend Hayden here. Now, existing customers will pull up right in this line. If you see additional people, example, if I had just searched for Smith alone, this screen would show everybody who has that last name Smith, but since I was specific, it's easy to find. Alternatively, if this is somebody who it's their first time here, or they just haven't, for whatever reason, created an account in the system just yet, you can actually go ahead and create a new customer as well. So we're going to pick our customer. And now we have a few different options for completing this transaction. Really quick, so just you see this big red button, clear. If you hit that, that's obviously just going to clear out everything in the cart. You also have the option to suspend a transaction. And if I do this, we typically request for the last 4 digits of the card. This is completely optional. I'll do it in this case. And we're going to suspend our transaction. And you'll actually note that this ended up down here. So it's gone ahead and cleared the cart, and now Hayden has been suspended down here. What this does is it's going to go ahead and save what she had in that card itself, as well as record the date and time, that card info that we entered in the total, and then when I want to go ahead and resume that transaction, I would just hit play here. Good example of sometime that you might run into this situation where you want to go ahead and suspend a transaction. Let's say somebody comes in, forgets their wallet in their car, you have a huge line of customers waiting for you. Rather than going ahead, clearing that cart and starting over, this person can then go run to their car, grab their wallet quick, and then you can go ahead and just resume the transaction. Now I'm going to hold off on paying just to show you a couple of the other invoicing options we have available. So we have 3 different options: save as payment due, save as quote, or create a recurring invoice. Typically, recurring invoices are really only used for membership purchases, and we'll talk a little bit about that in another video as well. Saving as quote, what this will do is it'll actually print off essentially an invoice. However, it's not going to be requesting any payment. So for example, if you have a corporate client that comes in and they just need to take a piece of paper outlining everything that they're going to be purchasing at a later date, that's where you can save it as a quote. And you can also save as payment due. Now, if I click on this, what it'll do is it'll generate that invoice, and it's actually not asking for a payment right now. You can go ahead and, you can go ahead and print directly from the screen, download it, whatever. This is just going to generate that PDF. And then you can email the invoice to a customer. We highly, highly recommend, if you're going to be doing this, that you use this orange button here, because what this does, it's actually going to email a customized online payment link. Now, typically what this would do is this would load the request payments email template. So there'd be a little bit of a blurb here saying, hey, thanks for making a purchase at our organization. Here's where you can go online and make your payment link. In this case, since this is just our demo club up here, we're just going to have the payment link included. I can email, whoops, just make sure you fill in the subject here. And we can email that to the user. You'll get a nice little confirmation up here. Now, additionally, if we're taking a payment in person or at the time not using that that invoice due, I'll just go ahead and add a couple sample merchandise items. And then to show you, I'm going to search just by the last name here. You can see now I've got quite a few customers who've pulled up. Anybody who has Smith as their last name or something similar. So let's do Eric Smith, for example. And now Eric Smith is going ahead and make his payment right now. No need to suspend the transaction, no need to take a payment later. So you'll hit add payment. And then again, these options might vary just depending on your organization and how you're able to accept payments. If you're using a Bolt terminal, Clover device, what this will do is this will send it to the device and then you can scan the credit card through there. You also have the option to take a credit card if there's already if there's already one on file. So in this instance, Eric did not have a credit card on file. We'll go ahead and add a sample credit card to his account. And now you can see that's going to ask for using the stored credit card. Additionally, you could take the credit card in person, enter the last 4 digits of the card, and just depending how you accept your payment methods, cash, check, anything along those lines. Now, for the sake of accepting this payment for our demo, we're just going to go ahead and accept a credit card via our Clover terminal. I'll hit add payment, and I can select which device I'm using there as well. Now, in this case, we don't have payment set up, but you would be able to see a confirmation button here as well. That covers it for the point of sale basics. We'll dive a little bit further into some of the other aspects of using the point of sale in a few other videos.